Imagine being trapped in a nightmarish world where everything feels distorted, grotesque, and horrifying. A world that seems endless with no escape or relief. Every attempt to wake up is futile. This is the world of Neverending Nightmares, a psychological horror game that pulls no punches in exploring the darkest corners of the human mind. But beneath its disturbing imagery, there is a deeper story. One that resonates with real-world struggles, particularly those related to mental illness. Today, we will be going on a deep dive into the game's narrative, its symbolic layers, and the profound real-world issues it addresses. Stick with me as we unravel the nightmare together.
What's going on?
Now, to fully understand the true depth of Neverending Nightmares, it's important to take a look at the minds behind it. The game was created by Infinite Tap Games, an indie studio founded by Matt. I really don't know how to say the name. I'm just gonna call you Matt, Brody, who also serves as the game's lead developer. Matt's personal experiences with mental illness, particularly his battle with depression, played a significant role in shaping the game's narrative and themes. But let's dive deeper into the studio's history and the motivation behind their decisions to create such a deeply personal yet universally relatable horror experience. Infinity Tap Games was founded in 2011 by Matt, who had previously worked in the game industry as a developer at Nexon. However, Matt's passion for creating his own games led him to break away from the corporate world and start Infinity Tap Games. His journey to create Neverending Nightmares was deeply personal. He wanted to craft a game that explored the psychological horrors he himself had experienced. In particular, Matt struggled with clinical depression, and the game is, in many ways, a reflection of his own mental health battles.
Well, the thing that's most exciting for me is when people get the connection to mental illness, and I was worried that, I'm pouring so much of myself into it, so much of my experience is dealing with mental illness, but I was worried that it's maybe too subtle, people won't really pick up on it, but I've been really amazed to hear the response, and people have been through similar experiences. People have struggled with depression, have found elements of the game and of my story that resonate with them as well. So that's been really fulfilling to me as a game designer.
Since the release of Neverending Nightmares, Infinity Tap Games has remained a relatively small indie studio, continuing to focus on emotionally charged, atmospheric games that deal with personal and psychological struggles. Though Infinity Tap Game hasn't produced a large quantity of titles, they've maintained a steady focus on developing experiences that encourage emotional reflection. Their work continues to draw inspiration from Matt's personal experiences and from the wider issue of mental health awareness. Infinity Tap Games, like many other indie developers, uses the game as a medium to explore profound emotional themes, pushing the boundaries of what video games can be and how they can communicate complex human experiences. Now, with that out of the way, let us explore the terrifying reality of never-ending nightmares. The game begins with a man stabbing a young girl, then suddenly waking up. Taking a look around the room, we can see what looks like a little girl in a framed photo above his bed, showing that this was a very personal nightmare for our main character. Walking around the house, we already see how strange this place really is. Taking a look at some frames in the background, we can see what looks like someone kneeling on the ground as rocks are being thrown at them, and another of a hanging being documented. While going further, a framed family portrait would fall, and when looking at it, we see ourselves, much younger, our mother and father, and our little sister, the girl we stabbed at the beginning of the game, in the framed photo above our bed. Walking around, more strange things would take place, like a bird killing itself by flying into the window by accident, or a bloody meat grinder with mysterious meat next to it, and a cleaver that has looked like it's been recently used. All things that seem very nightmarish, but without context, just seems like that, a nightmare. But when entering outside, we'd come across a cemetery, and when going to the most grandest tombstone of all, the main character would break down and begin to cry. As the name Gabriella Smith is written, we are then only left to assume that that's the name of our dearest departed sister. And then we wake up to our sister.
You're still sleeping? You promised we'd meet for breakfast.
Oh,
Are you okay? You look upset.
I'm sorry. I just had a terrible nightmare. I dreamt you were dead.
That's silly. I'm fine. Besides, you always promised you'd take care of your little sister.
That was when we were kids.
It's still true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why don't you try to get back to sleep? I'll wait outside.
Not being able to go back to sleep, the main character would follow her, but would cruelly end up waking up once again. Hoping that it wasn't a dream and that his sister was actually alive, he runs around the house, but only finds increasingly distressing stuff. First, it's teeth found in the sink surrounded by blood, then later our own dead body with the words, "Why God, why have you forsaken me?" While exploring, we find a doorway blocked with a wooden panel, so going back to our room, we'd find a bloody axe and use that to break down the wood blocking the way. And what we find upstairs is our sister hanging from a rope. When waking up once again, we notice that the background are becoming much more run down, more dilapidated. However, this time you have the ability to hide. Well, that cannot be. Oh my fucking god. So there's some big bloated muscle fucker just walking around the mansion now. That's great. And while running around like a chicken with our head missing, the main character would fall through the floorboards and again wake up in the same nightmare. Things are getting darker and darker, and dolls reflecting our sisters are now cracked and bruised, and worse yet, and pictures and frames that once had our dear family members are now gone, hatched out and forgotten from memory. The same monster blocks us from heading upstairs, but hiding correctly and successfully, not being hugged to death. We'd head upstairs and find our sister dead once again, knife in her gut as she bleeds out. The main character would then take the knife and stab himself, dying right next to his sister. Strangely, however, we do see the same exact death foreshadowed in earlier nightmares before. So how much of this is truth? We do not have time to ponder that, as when waking up this time we are not in the mansion but what looks like a mental institution. When escaping the room, everything's a mess, but we are able to look into the cell door of the other rooms and we'd see writing on the wall. "Why God, why have you forsaken me?" Then a cheap ass jump scare hits us. But no, It's time to theory craft. I think the main character did not stab his sister, however the sister stabbed herself due to mental illness. And then the main character blames himself and likely went and harmed himself, but was unable to finish the job as the parents put him in a mental institution, where he would likely deteriorate further due to 1800s asylums not being the best. And that's when he would write that in his own blood on the wall. Why, God, why have you forsaken me? And now we are simply just living through jumbled truths. And guess what? If I turn out to be right, y'all gotta do the Holy Trinity for me. Like, comment, subscribe. Anyways, let's get back to the game. Our main character would follow the blood deeper and deeper into the building. Enemies with their eyes gouged out and forcefully bound walk around. And as you go deeper, the more blood seems to collect. More blood, more bodies. And when finally getting back to your room, somehow another patient is waiting for our arrival and attacks by eating us alive. Waking up once again, our sister is now our psychiatric therapist, I guess.
You're my sister.
I'm afraid you're mistaken.
Where am I?
You're in a lunatic asylum and have been for quite some time.
Why am I here?
Why do you think you're here?
I don't know.
We've reached the end of our session. Please see yourself out.
And she actually might be, because like I feel like the therapy culture is like this for real. Like I don't know why, but like I'll be on full thought-provoking, the most vulnerable I've ever been in front of another human being, on the line, on the prefaces of a mental breakthrough. And then boom, I'm hit with this line. Okay, it looks like that's all the time we have. I'll see you next Thursday. Same time?
Fuck no, baby!
Once leaving the room, we come across some writings telling us to wake up and that dreams are the enemies of the guilty. And when walking outside, our sister would drug us, then cut our Achilles, telling us we'll never escape. But it gets worse. We wake up with our sister in our bed, dog.
What?
Honey, go back to sleep.
But, why am I in bed with my sister?
What are you talking about? I'm your wife.
But,
You don't even have a sister.
I thought...
I'm worried about you. Why don't you get a glass of milk to calm your nerves?
Okay.
Main character freaks out, but his sister tells him that she's actually his wife and that he doesn't even have a sister. So now I'm very lost. Now I'm very confused. Now I do not understand what is going on. Either the main character doesn't know what the hell is going on, or this is some crude joke. I'm not sure though. She tells him that she's worried about him and that he should grab a glass of milk and calm his nerves. Our dude then walks for a ridiculously long time until the house becomes the asylum and our sister is waiting at the end of the hall. And she ends up killing us. We are then provided this beauty of a scene. But yeah, the mystery meat from way back when. But now we have confirmation that the mystery meat from way back when was actually our own hand-grinded meat, I guess. When waking up, we're in the mansion again. Everything seems to be back to normal until going outside in the forest. Walking through, we see our sister's hung body littered on the different trees surrounding the area. Entering a cave, it would lead us back to the mansion, and when walking through the mansion, it becomes the mental asylum once again. We are then chased by the big fucker from earlier into the downstairs portion of the building, which again turns out to be the mansion. However, now we are in this endless loop through our sister's room. At first, it's just a teddy bear, pretty clean, nothing to worry about. Then the dolls appear, sad, alone, and in pain, cracked. Then blood is smeared on the wall, and then finally, piles of bloody doll bodies are on the bed, and then we get this extremely dark scene, only allowing slight images of our dead sister to appear, and then we collapse in a room made of intestines. Don't worry guys, I am just as confused as you are, but hopefully continuing the game will get us the much needed lore drop that we need. Again, our main character awakes, but not in the bed, but at his desk. Our main character would then read a note from his now ex-wife.
Dear Thomas, I'm leaving you. I'm sorry. You can't talk me out of it. I still love you, but I just can't be with you anymore. Losing our daughter was hard on me too, yet I'm trying to move on. Your life didn't end, so why can't you live it? I hope you can get past this tragedy eventually, I really do. I guess this is goodbye. Love, Gabrielle.
As it turns out that the little girl that we have been seeing throughout the entirety of the game was never our sister, but rather she was our daughter. Now, of course, this was simply just the first ending, and as it turns out, there are 2 other endings that help expand on the story, but let's take a break here and figure out what's actually going on, and if we could piece anything together. So the biggest question here, are we willing to believe that the last loop was real? Personally, not me. But let's just say, for the sake of understanding something in the story, it would seem that the main character blames himself for the death of his daughter. Makes sense, as most parents who have the unfortunates of bearing their own child from a freak accident would feel the same. So the knife could very well be metaphorical. So I don't think he stabbed his daughter, but more so the daughter had done it to herself, whether it was literally or figuratively. My theory is that depression is a very bloodline-induced illness, just like alcoholism or diabetes or anything like that. I think the main character had a history of battling severe depression when he was young, and when he found out his daughter succumbed by a fate that was set up by birth, he blamed himself. Unable to wake from his nightmare, this could then go 2 ways. One, he himself omits himself into a mental hospital, leaving his wife to grieve alone and ultimately leave him. Or 2, he simply couldn't get over the fact that his daughter had died and is in a state of denial and delusion, which scares her off, but she's still wishing the best for him to get healthy. Those are my theories, and at the end of the video, there will be a few more details that I will probably go over. But as of right now, let's just get into the second and third endings. Hello guys. Alright, so immersion break. So I'm pretty sure everybody's seen the latest video of Deltarune or whatever. You know my situation. So of course I wanted to get out of the house. I want to go around, do stuff. And I thought, hey, why not go to Jersey? So I'm in New Jersey at this current moment. Therefore, I don't have my recording stuff that I usually use. So I'm using my friend's laptop. So if the quality looks weird, I still have the same audio quality as you can see, but I couldn't bring everything. But I wanted to start this video off. I know that we always talk about foods. We are a very big food oriented, disgust based channel. I don't know why, but that's usually how it is. And a lot of people I found out aren't from America, or at least they're not familiar with America's snacks. And so I think I had asked something about what's your favorite type of cereal, like what's your top 3. Well, I can show you, because a lot of people was like, I don't even know what that is for real. And so I'm gonna show you what it is. All right, so just give me 1 second. This right here is my top 1. Okay, that's a bit of a lie. It's hard because I had asked, what's your top 3 choices? And I was like, I don't know for real. So I don't know. I can't rank them all 3. Like I can't do 1, 2, and 3. They're all so equal. I love the shit out of this, but I also like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I also like Frosted Flakes. Those are my 3 faves. Even with me saying that, I'm not completely in the know, because there are some like really good like 4, 5, 6, and like sometimes it just really be on how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? I love Rice Krispies. I love Rice Krispies, okay? I love Honey Nut Cheerios, Trix, Cocoa Puffs. They are all goated. But 9 times out of 10, I have to just think about like, what do I usually gravitate towards? Fruit Loops is another one, but what do I normally gravitate towards? This right here is the best of the best. I love them so much. Reese's Puffs, Reese's Puffs. Eat them up, eat them up, eat them up, eat them up. Another reason as to why I like certain cereals is The slogans, you know what I'm saying? The slogans gotta be hidden. If I don't remember your slogans, I don't give a fuck about you. For Frosted Flakes, they're great. Come on now, you can't stop it right there. And then Cinnamon Toast Crunch, taste those crazy squares. Or crave those crazy squares. That's amazing too. Oh my god, bro. Anyway, sorry for the Yap session here. What are y'all's top 3 cereals? I already know I asked, but you know, different people watch different videos. So how many people is gonna comment down below and put your top 3, and then I guess just like go from favorites to least favorites, and then just put 3. And if you don't have 3, just put what your favorite is, bro. Come on now. All right, let's get back into the video. Apologies for the Yap session. Going back into the game, there's a scene where you can exit and try to leave. However, your wife or daughter, I'm not sure at this point, whoever drugs you and then slices your Achilles. Instead of going there, you will instead throw yourself off the edge if you decide to go further and not go into the door. And when waking up, you'd come to be a child. Once leaving the mansion, your daughter or sister, I told you at this point I don't know who this is, would tell you to follow her because she found something super cool. You chase her on throughout the forest and she'd just keep beckoning you to follow her. With each step, things get darker, both literally and figuratively. Gutted animals, blood on the leaves, and finally, our own dead sister or daughter. Like I said, I don't know who it is. And the main character would begin to weep, then awakes once again. He wakes in the mansion once again, but once more, the mansion looks decayed and is littered with dolls that, once catching you, will pull out the main character's guts like silly string. But each time you would die, the main character would wake up somewhere different. First, it was the mansion, then it's the mental hospital, then it's back to what the game considers as normal. He'd find his sister asleep and he'd give her a forehead kiss. Then that's another ending. Next is the third and final ending. We'd have to go all the way back to the childish things scenes where the 2 siblings are playing in the forest. However, this time, when finding his sister's corpse, we have this very intense scene which I can't even show, but I will show you a representation of what's going on with maybe some watermelons or something. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on, except instead of a watermelon, it's his arm. He's peeling his arm from the bone. Yeah. For this scene, you have to travel between the different wars, all the while bloody versions of yourself is chasing you through the halls until finally the main character throws himself off a cliff, and we are privy to this scene.
Wake up. Thomas, please wake up. Oh God, please. Thomas, you're awake.
And there's no way we have come to the end of the game. The end of the game, 30 minutes into the video, and his name is Thomas. How the fuck did I go the entire game without knowing the main... Yes, his name is Thomas. I'm such a dumbass. But anyway, that would be the end of Neverending Nightmares. Now, Neverending Nightmares is an interesting game to say the least. I've never really paid attention to it. I've known of its existence for a long time, even before this video. I've seen it circle through YouTube. It was when Franbo and stuff like that was coming out, really. And I feel like I had just always skimmed over it because of the art style and how it kind of felt like more of like the early Flash game type of deal, where it's like how to whack your boss with the over grotesque amount of blood and stuff like that. And so I just cruelly kind of just judged it by a book, or judged the book by its cover. And I kind of regret that, because doing more research, I still feel iffy on the game's art direction and stuff like that. I'm not saying it was a bad game by any means, but I do feel like it took me a lot to get immersed into the video game. But I don't think that's what this game was really about. I don't think this was supposed to be an enjoyable, fun, thought-provoking game. It was supposed to make you feel. I think it was supposed to be an experience rather than a challenge. And I really enjoyed that because, like the game implies, it's a never-ending nightmare. Even with the 3 main endings that you can get, you might still be in that nightmare. We have seen Thomas wake up time and time again to having like his sister back alive. She's like, oh, you're so silly. Or him actually getting something he's owned. You never know if it's true. And I think that's the entire purpose. Obviously, I don't have any personal experience with severe depression or OCD disorders or anything like that. However, I can try my damnedest to understand and to comprehend and to feel what others are feeling. And if the game set out for you to live never-ending nightmares or continue to live those traumas time and time and time again, it did amazingly. It did amazingly. Even when you do die by accident, the game incorporates it just to be another nightmare. I can't tell you how many times I've woken up in a fright and only to realize that I'm in like a dream within a dream, some like Inception shit. It is interesting. I just felt like Neverending Nightmares definitely hit that point of waking up in a dream, thinking you finally got out, and then right back into it. It was just, it gives me Parasite Flower vibes, where I felt like when I had played the game, I was under the preferences that it was going to be something deep and, you know, at the end, bittersweet or enlightening. But this game felt empty. This game left me feeling like painful. I don't know how else to explain it. It was a painful experience. One ending, you, I guess, are left to rot and be in denial and delusion for the rest of your life. 2, it's a future, or it's a reality where none of this even happened, or even cruelly, this could be right before the accident as he kisses her goodnight. Like that could be that it never even happened, or it could be that's how things used to be, so it's just rubbing salt in the wounds. And then the last one, him harming himself but still in a coma and then waking up and being confused. It's everything doesn't have a concise ending. Everything about this game is kind of open for interpretation. And the first one, we could think, like, honestly, they all kind of work chronologically. If you put 2 in 1 and then 3 and then, hold on, I think I just fucking, I confused myself. If you were to put them in chronological order, I think you would put 2 as the first thing that happens, where they were both young. He had promised his sister that he will always protect her. Somehow that didn't happen, and she dies, right? So then he blames himself, harms himself, goes to the mental hospital, and he lives. And his wife, whoever, is there and is like so happy that he's alive and wants him never to do it again. And then we can get to 3, where he never heals. He still has mental scars. He may have healed his arms, but he didn't heal his mind, and she leaves him. So you could read it like that. That's how it could be, but that's just a theory of mine. Or they could all be completely separate things, just showcasing that healing is painful, and sometimes healing isn't the easiest thing to do. Anyway, I do want to go over the deeper meanings of certain details and then further explain why I even wanted to zone in on it and what this game could really be talking about. So let us get into the deeper meanings of Neverending Nightmares. At its core, Neverending Nightmare follows the journey of a man named Thomas, who is trapped in a series of increasingly surreal and disturbing nightmares. These nightmares are not just abstract horror, they are a direct reflection of Thomas's psychological state. The story begins with Thomas waking up in a mansion-like house, where the normality of his surroundings quickly deteriorates into the grotesque, unsettling imagery and just disgusting routes of events. From rotting corpses to strange figures that lurk in the shadows, nothing is what it seems. Thomas's nightmare seems to revolve around reoccurring themes of death, decay, and the grotesque. Along the way, he encounters disturbing figures, most notably a child whose death he seems to be hauntingly connected to. These figures are not simply random, but rather manifestations of something far deeper: guilt, trauma, loss. The repetition of environments and the cynical nature of the dream sequences create a sense of being stuck, trapped in a loop that you can never escape from. As the game progresses, Thomas faces not just physical horror of his environment, but also the emotional weight of his past, especially his connection to a child who he either is dead or forever lost in these nightmarish realms. The more you explore the game, the more you realize that these dreams are not just random, but direct reflection of Thomas' unresolved guilt and trauma. He is trying to face and confront something much darker. One of the most striking aspects of Neverending Nightmares is its visual style. The art direction uses a unique hand-drawn aesthetic, thin lines, muted colors, and dark tones that heighten the feeling of dread. This choice isn't just for an artistic effect, it's a part of the game's larger metaphor. The world is not only decaying physically, but is decaying emotionally. The grotesque figures, the disturbing imagery, and the horrific environments all symbolize a mind in turmoil. These unsettling visuals serve as a mirror to Thomas's psyche. The more grotesque the world becomes, the more unhinged his mental state seems. The symbolism here is undeniable. As his mind falls deeper into despair, the nightmare world around him becomes more distorted and horrifying. It's not just a dream, it's an expression of inner pain and the fear of manifesting in a world around him. While Neverending Nightmares is undeniably a horror game, it also functions as a powerful metaphor for mental illness. One of the key themes explored in the game is depression, specifically the feeling of being stuck in a never-ending cycle of despair. The game structure mirrors the hopelessness that accompanies depression. Just when Thomas thinks he can escape, he wakes up in another nightmarish scenario, unable to break free. It's a perfect metaphor for how depression feels: an endless loop with no fucking escape. This cyclical nature is one of the most poignant aspects of Neverending Nightmares. Thomas constantly tries to wake up, to find some form of resolution, but each and every single time he is pulled back into the nightmare. This is a direct representation of how those suffering from mental health issues, specifically depression, can feel trapped in their own minds, unable to escape the suffocating darkness that surrounds them. It's a vicious cycle. Each attempt to overcome the darkness only feels like a temporary reprieve, before it comes back stronger than ever. The game doesn't shy away from portraying how depression can affect personal relationships. This distorted figures of Thomas's family reflects how mental illness can warp our perception of reality, causing isolation and alienation. It's not just the environment that's distorted, it's Thomas's entire sense of self and the world around him. This can be seen as the representation of depression distorts the way we see our loved ones and even ourselves. And we can see this point blank in the game when Thomas is the relationship with Thomas and his sister, wife, or just psychiatric advisor. It is so interesting how even with the game being finished, you still don't 100% know what actually is happening, what's actually the truth. And I believe that to be the entire reasoning of the game. I think that's the point. I think what's going on are a jumble of truths. I do think he lost a daughter. I do think he's reliving his nightmare as he's reliving that he lost something very dear to him once again. I do think he lost his sister early on in his life and then grew up and lost his daughter. And now he's just confused. He's confusing the both of them. He's failed once, he can fail again. It is supposed to just be a relapse. It's supposed to feel like a relapse, which it does. The game is called Neverending Nightmares, and the entire story is about that. Not just the game, not just you dying, not you just waking up, but the entire prefaces of the game is Never-ending Nightmares. Think about it. With all of the things that we have come to learn about our boy Thomas, he has lost his sister. He has lost his own will to live. He has lost his daughter. And all of these things, they're just never-ending despair. Never-ending despair. How would you feel that when you were young, you and your sister made an oath, told each other we will always be together, I will protect you for the rest of my life, and then she dies? Wouldn't that strike something in you? Wouldn't that harm you in some prominent, paramount way? Wouldn't that stick with you? And to go further, and to be alive, and to finally get stronger, you find a wife, you impregnate your wife, you get a beautiful young child, and boom, just like a fated curse, your daughter dies. And this is also kind of just theory crafting, but from the same thing, from depression, it's a never-ending nightmare. I told you earlier that I do think that we can look at it two ways pretty much for my personal theories. One, I believe that all of the endings have this chronological order, right? So in ending 2, you kiss your sister goodnight. I think that is showing what happened before, and then obviously we see the sister, or not the sister, but the wife talking about how she lost her person. And then after the second ending, we could go for the third ending where we wake up harming ourselves from said situation, or we can have the last one be the first ending where the wife ends up leaving us. So that's one way we can look at it, right? And then now we could even look even further back to saying that this entire game, Neverending Nightmares, started way before the game started. I think what I had just said earlier, the relationship that he has with his sister is just relapsing after the death of his daughter. I do believe that to be a very perfect way where it's not even just Neverending Nightmares as a specific small little, oh, I die, I wake up. No, it's literally never-ending despair, never-ending nightmares. It already happened to Thomas once with his sister. We saw him weep, and he even still weeps at her grave. But then we even see it through his daughter now. And then it's just a cycle that's gonna keep on going. It's so sad, and I think it's also very quite beautiful. While depression and isolation are central themes, Neverending Nightmares also delves deeply into guilt and trauma. As we explore the nightmare world, we begin to uncover that Thomas is haunted by the death of a child. This isn't just a random child, this child seems to represent something much deeper. The recurring deaths of this child throughout the nightmare sequence suggest that Thomas is trapped in his own grief, unable to move from the lost. The death of the child might be a symbol of parental guilt. The idea that no matter how hard we try, we can't protect those we love from harm. It could also represent the loss of innocence or purity in Thomas's life. Either way, the child's death isn't just horrific. It's something that has shaped Thomas's entire psyche. This trauma, this guilt, it's what keeps him trapped in these endless nightmares. He cannot escape it because he hasn't even faced it. Beyond the surface level horror, Neverending Nightmares is rich with symbolism. The decaying, ever-changing environments serve as a reflection of Thomas's mind, a mind filled with unresolved trauma, guilt, and despair. The monster that appears throughout the game, from the grotesque figures to the twisted representation of the family members, symbolizes the deep-rooted fears and anxieties that haunt Thomas. The cyclical nature of this game also symbolizes the endless loop of obsessive thinking that often accompanies mental illness. It's the feeling that no matter how hard you try, you can never escape your own thoughts. It's a state of constant repetition, where each attempt to move forward only feels like a step back. In the end, Neverending Nightmares leaves us with an uncomfortable, unresolved feeling. Thomas's journey doesn't end with a clean resolution, and that's a part of its power. It doesn't offer a simplistic solution to a complex issue of mental illness, trauma, and guilt. Instead, it reflects the harsh reality that sometimes the struggle is just never ending. In Neverending Nightmares, the true horror isn't just the monsters or the disturbing environment, it's the psychological journey of the protagonist. The game acts as a stark, unflinching portrayal of how mental illness, particularly depression and trauma, can trap us in cycles of despair. It's a game that doesn't offer easy answers, but instead invites us to reflect on our own struggles, fears, and the part of ourselves we try to escape from. It's a reminder that sometimes facing our inner demons is the hardest, most important thing we can do. And as bleak and as sad as this video may be ending on, it is important to realize that this is simply a story. This is simply a narrative that you had the purpose of listening to. You can draw your own conclusions. For me, in the state of mind that I'm currently in, that is what I got from it. That sometimes life is truly unforgiving and it could be a never-ending struggle that you're just gonna have to live through. But there is an important distinction here. It's an opinion of mine. It's just an opinion of mine. If anybody is watching this, please look for the better stuff in the game. Maybe you could say that this was truly all a nightmare and that he broke the cycle on ending 2 when he kissed his sister goodnight. Maybe this entire never-ending nightmare was simply his guilt and it changed him for the better to where he was able to be a loving husband, there to save his daughter, or even to never lose his sister. Or even then, we can go even as far back to ending 3 when he actually harmed himself and he did not succeed. Maybe from then forward he would realize that these never-ending nightmares is somewhere he would never want to be, and so he would start to work better and do better towards something and actually become medicated, more mentally healthy, and try to live a better life. These are all extremely prominent and possibly true things. So please do not leave this video thinking that this is just a depressing and bleak and torture pornic, if that's even a word, game, because it is not. There are things you can take away from this game where it isn't just fully depressing. But for me right now, unfortunately, that is the conclusion that I drew up. And even though it sounds sad, and even though it's obviously like not the best to harp on a dead horse, it's the truth. And I would always want to be truthful to you guys, but I'm hoping that in the future I find a different, purpose in life. I'm hoping that in the future, somehow, some way, I learn to live again, live on my own, and maybe I'll have a brighter, more positive outlook on life. But as of right now, sometimes it's just never ending. And that's okay, because even though I'm despairing, even though I'm sad and not going through the happiest time of my life still goes on. I still have you guys. Things are still good. I'm living in a home. I can eat whenever I want. My car works outside. There's so many people who are in much worse situations than I am. And so, if they can continue to persevere and move forward, so can I. Anyway, I'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace out, bye-bye. And hopefully by this point in time, I have earned your subscription. So please do the Holy Trinity for me. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you didn't like it, don't subscribe. I wouldn't want to force you guys to watch somebody as beautiful and as handsome as I am. Anyway, I'll see y'all in the next one. That just cringed me out. It gave me the ick. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Bye. Hey guys, this is a little bit last minute. Completing it, you know what I'm saying? It's all here. Neverending Nightmares, the harsh road of acceptance. It's all coming together. And bada bing, bada boom. When you think I'm done, apparently this whole manga, or apparently this game, has gotten a manga adaptation. And so I wanted to at least mention it, because it seems that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it skips to 10 for whatever reason. But I was thinking, if this was a collaborative work of a manga artist, and I guess they collaborated and talked to the author of this story, which is basically the game creator, Matt, then we probably might get some more details that we weren't privy to. So I wanted to at least go ahead and read through all of it, just because why not? Like, we actually might see something here. First chapter, or not even chapter, the cover art page here is pretty interesting because it seems to be the little girl, our sister, who is obviously dead, and then we have some older lady behind, and we can see her eyes peeking through the facade, the painting. So someone's opening up their eyes. How long have I been here? We see the little girl. He blinks. He sees fully the little girl, his sister, with the teddy bear and everything. Who are you? What? I can't hear you. So that's already very strange. We are starting this off with the main character Thomas, and in the game I kind of just felt like it was an experience rather than an actual story. And I do think this is interesting because Thomas doesn't seem to remember his sister, which is very interesting. But then boom, blood comes splattering out her mouth. He looks down. He has the knife in his hand. He's stabbing her. What's interesting here as well is that maybe I just didn't recognize the detail, but he's actually a child doing this. So is this real? Is this something that actually went down and happened? He panics. He pulls the knife out. He drops it to the ground. Blood begins to really start to pour. It goes and stains her dress, nightgown, not sure what she's wearing. And blood goes trickling all the way down her leg into her shoes, and the teddy bear even is covered in blood as well. She looks distraught. What is this? Why? And then he cries, looks down at his hands. We see that quote, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" And then we see trees, and this man wakes up, now much older, of course. He coughs. He's looking at his hands. Was it a dream? Who is she? Where am I? Somebody. Very interesting. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know who that was. Anybody. He opens up the door. He peeks through the door. He sees a bathroom. Teddy bears lie. The dolls lie that look strikingly similar to his sister. He looks around and no one is here, he states. He sees a mirror, and we see the blood, the teeth, in the sink. He panics. He's frightened. He's scared. He does not know what it is. He flops to the ground. I gotta get out of here. He gets up, trying his best, walking, coughing, wheezing. Looking around is too much, but boom. When he goes to shut... I don't know why he shuts it. But he goes to shut the window. But as he does so, a reflection can be seen in the window. He looks behind himself and he turns. Good morning, Thomas. Good, you're up. It's my sister? He panics. Who are you? Did you lock me in here? What are you talking about? Have you forgotten what your own sister looks like? Or did you have a nightmare? Sister? Dream? Yeah, I must have had a nightmare. I'm okay. You don't look good. You sure? And then things get really weird. She crouches down as it seems as if she's gonna console him, but boom, she rips his mouth open and turns almost demonic. Maybe you should see a doctor. Puts forcefully his mouth open, grabbing the pliers that we've seen earlier and ripping each tooth out of his fucking mouth. Which is also a very interesting detail here, because when walking around, this had already happened. So is it possible that upon these nightmares, he's already foreseeing his, like, what type of time desperate, what does the time look like here? Because he already seen the aftermath. If you look closely, there's 3 teeth. So, and then the bloody pliers is the same instrument. He has his teeth here, so he's seen what was going to happen to him. These nightmares are placed in the future, it seems. So if that's true, the 3 teeth, bloodied and splattered. But he wakes up from his nightmare just then. I was still in a never-ending nightmares. He said the thing, and that is the first thing you hear here. 1, he stabbed his sister when he was young, or at least that's what he believes it to be. So that really does make a lot of sense to he felt responsible for his sister's death. It wasn't something that he grew up with. It's something that he experienced early on and then had to grow up with. And then also the nightmares seem to foretell a situation that may happen in the future. So if he saw his teeth already placed in the sink, and then he got his teeth pulled out seconds later, maybe what we see in these nightmares may have some truth to them. Maybe he did stab her. Maybe he was under a state of psychosis. We do not know. And that's why we're going to see. But he begins to wheeze as he gets out of bed, and he remembers the horrific sight of his sister pulling out each of his teeth, and he freaks. Obviously, he's frightened from his sister. He's like, don't come close to me. Get out! Somebody, help! But I think he has a panic attack. He begins to vomit as his sister, I think, comes over to help him. Thomas, calm down. Teeth, you pulled out my teeth. It's okay. Don't worry. You just had a nightmare. Poor dear, you had an attack. Hang on, I'll just clean up the mess. And so she gets down on all fours. She starts cleaning up his vomit, which is crazy, disgusting. You don't got mops. Anyway, don't worry about it. I'm your sister, so don't worry. She's very beautiful. I love the way they drew this shit. This is really good. Brother and sister? He looks out the window. She states, it's gonna rain. You better stay inside, because you don't feel well. And then he's like, I remember now. Gabby, my only family member. How did I forget her? I'll have to get better and help her. But as soon as he closes his eyes, he's back in a never-ending nightmare. I said the thing. It hurts, Thomas. As he stabbed her. Boom! A bird flies into the window, cracking his neck and splattering blood all over it. And he's startled awake. He looks around. How long was I asleep? Gabby. He begins to actually traverse the horrific mansion, just uttering the word Gabby, looking everywhere and seeing family photos of he and his parents and his sister. He's looking around. He's trying to remember, but boom, he sees something that terrifies him. Something that looks oddly familiar. He goes over there. Who is there? It's me? Now that's also a very interesting thing as well. I don't think in the game we ever had something eating an individual that looked like our main character. We only had ourselves running. But the fact that he is consuming his sister almost seems as if this is something symbolic, something that means something, you know? Maybe this is symbolic for him consuming her life. Maybe he did take her life. Maybe he feels that he took her life. Or maybe this is just how it feels. I don't know. But he's frightened. He's disgusted. He wakes up. A dream. That damn blood splatter. That was already there. What the hell is going on? He runs around. Cluttered fills this shit. He sees a bloody axe and picks it up. He needs to help Gabby. And as he walks through the forest, trees block his way, but with the axe he chops it down, no fucking problem. And when he gets out, he is met in a cemetery. Water begins to pour heavier. He starts to remember this, a reef on a tombstone. Someone must have been put here. He moves the reef. Gabriella Smith, 1987 to 1984. So this only solidifies that his sister did in fact die quite young, because she would have only been 6 years of age when she died. He's so confused. She's dead. He begins to cry, he begins to wail, and then someone appears behind him. His sister. Thomas, I told you to stay inside. He cries. Oh, that's it. Sorry guys, I got really into it. This time he is woken up quite abruptly. Instead of waking up in his bed, he's falling onto the ground. He is falling out of his bed, not this room again. He gets up and sees his sister, but she's pregnant. She says, "Good morning, Thomas." "Oh, the baby kicked. Would you want to feel it? This baby's going to be healthy." He is in disbelief. Is this real, or is it just another... He reaches out, but he can't bring himself to do so. Tell me, how many months have I been asleep? 7, 8, 9? You... Before he could finish his sentence, she laughs it off. It's like, you're half asleep, aren't you? Maybe you should go back to sleep, and it looks like it's going to rain, and you'll hurt yourself, so you should just go back. You shouldn't go outside. She mentions the outside, which triggers his understanding of maybe this is a dream. If I can find this tombstone, that'll only solidify it. He ignores his sister's pleas and walks right past her. She says, "Thomas, where are you going?" He says, "I'm going outside." "I told you not to go outside," she says. "I'm free to do whatever I want." He gets a little aggressive. "What's wrong with you? Don't touch me." "Who the fuck are you?" he asked. She's in disbelief. "Huh? What are you hiding? What are you going to do to me?" He begins to break. "Who? I'm Gabby. You know me. I'm your... Stay back." She tries to forcefully stop him. "Please, don't go outside. Just stay here." And he fights back. Even though she's pregnant, he kicks her. He does something cruel. He is living in a nightmare, however. Or, of course. She falls to the ground. A pregnant lady should never fall to the ground. And he runs out of the bed, or he runs out of the bedroom as she crawls, and she's left there. Thomas. Her waters broke. That fall was not good. "I must leave." He runs, showing his feet, and I must check again. I'm in a nightmare. It's just a dream. If I can confirm that it was a dream, I can wake up calmly this time. I don't want to wake up in that fucking bed again. He looks around. He needs to calm down, but he just can't find the entrance. It seems as if damn, I'm out here stuttering. It seems as if these hallways are just going on forever and ever and ever, and he's just walking, and he doesn't know where he's at, and boom, a monster appears. We actually get another cover art page where it seems as if his sister is holding all the dolls that she has acquired. Let this load in. How are you guys enjoying this? I know this is going to be a really weird section, because I actually have already talked about the game in its entirety, but I just had to see this because I saw it on Steam in 2017. They were like, "Congratulations, it's a manga now." I said, "Huh? I have to check this out." He looks confused and points at himself, and Thomas rightfully asks, "What the hell is this thing?" But it quickly picks up a chair and throws it at him. He dodges it, however, he is fallen to the ground and screams, "Monster!" But Thomas prevails. He runs and runs and runs. He even hides into a closet, but just like in the game mechanic, the monster's not so stupid. And so it starts shaking the closet violently, the wardrobe, whatever it's called, and he comes slamming out. But before he could actually get grabbed, he throws a mirror at the thing's face and does it again and again and again until he throws torches, I think, candles, whatever. It starts creating a smoke screen, a flame between him and the monster. But with this diversion, he's able to get away. And he comes to this long stairwell. He doesn't care how he will get there, how long it's going to take for him to get out of here. Even if he has to jump out of a window, he's going to escape. But unfortunately, when he reaches the top of the stairwell, he sees blood splatters. He notices it and looks up to see none other than his sister. And he just says, "No way." Unfortunately, as he was in complete awe and stunned and confused, the monster would pretty much smash his entire foot. Now he's unable to move. The monster gets on top of him, grabs his head, pulls him into a big, nice hug, and crushes him with just pure might. But then we hear, "Mama, Mama, Mom." It stops. Where am I? Good morning, Thomas. And then we see our sister again. Oh shit. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Just so you guys know, I haven't read any of this. Every time I come here, I try to act like I know what I'm talking about, but like, truth be told, I'm scared. I'm scared for Thomas here. We have another cover art page, a bunch of monsters. I think these are the patients that we've seen in the game, and it's kid Thomas running away. But she walks over to him. "Gabby, your body's back to normal. Gabby, you're all right. I'm awoken from my dream." "Thomas, please sit down over there. Did you take your medication?" "Gabby, my name is Smith. I'm your attending physician." Whoa, this is cool. Her name is Smith. This isn't even Gabby anymore. What? Gabby, what the fuck are you talking about? You had a nightmare, so you were confused. Thomas, let's go back to your hospital room. What's going on, Not Abby. What's going on, Gabby? Why are you acting like you don't know me, even though you're my family? The monsters might get me again. We need to go somewhere safe. She looks in disgust, almost not even disgust. She looks scared. Thomas, this is your house. You can leave once you're better. So where's my family? You don't have family. That's a lie. I have to protect my sister, Thomas says. He falls to the ground. I think he dies, but he wakes up into another bedroom. Have I been dreaming this whole time, like she said? Was everything, including her, just a figment of my imagination? He looks, but he noticed there's a sketchbook underneath his bed. Underneath his bed. That's what I meant. He looks under and he sees sketchbooks. Is this mine? I can't remember at all. And we see a bunch of different pictures. And he begins to look. And this is me. This is something he's seen in his dream. Just as I died. I do have a family. She's lying to me. Smith is deceiving me, he believes. She is the one who's putting Gabby in danger. I have to get out of here now. He begins to explore the mental hospital, which was once his home, or not home, which was once his home, but now is just a bloody mess of a mental asylum. What the hell is this place? I have to get out of here before someone finds me. Is this really a hospital? No one's here. It seems to be night, and he walks. Shattered glass goes into his feet, but he picks it out quick before Smith finds me. But boom. It's not Smith you gotta worry about. It's a blind patient of the hospital, but if you make no noise, it'll just walk away. He moves silently and he sees something within one of the cells. My God, why have you forsaken me? My God, why have you forsaken me? He sees this and sprints and runs because this is something he's seen in his dreams. He has to get out of here. But literally, the faucets begin to drip blood. He's in a nightmare. This has to be. He's got to get out of here. Everything is wrong here, he believes. And he just keeps walking and walking deeper into his delusion, deeper into his despair, deeper into his nightmares. Walking, seeing patients, dodging them, staying quiet, hiding away from his fear, until he comes across his own dead body, or at least someone's dead body, and a pile of them. All of his own dead bodies. That's also interesting. I don't think I realized that in the game. He runs past it, and knocks into a door, and makes too much noise, and of course, they were waiting. They jump on him. One bites his arm, and they just begin to mutilate him. They begin to eat him, and he says, "Someone help! Someone!" But right before he dies, he sees something. Wake up, Thomas. Remember, dreams are the enemies of the guilty. And he gets bit, like this is Attack on Titan, and he dies, waking up. ReZero type shit. He wakes up, another dream. He gets up, blank pages. No way, he went back. Now his door is chained. It's only getting worse. Who the hell am I? He's forgetting who he is. Oh, Lord. And this is unfortunate because we are definitely going to skip a lot of content. But knowing the game's content, maybe we'll be able to figure out some things. Maybe this would be the good ending. But we see a very strange individual. It seems to be Thomas's silhouette, a baby's face as like the moon of some kind, and kid Thomas lying with his teddy bear, and that was once his sister's. He follows his sister into the forest. We remember this. He's following Gabby. He's, Gabby, you're too fast. Wait a second. But then he says, Tommy, what are you doing? Keep up with me. And keeps on running. And he says, wait. He starts to gasp for air, but he just can't keep up. But, you know, each time he walks by a dead, mutilated corpse of something. First it was a bird. Then it's a casket. He opens up the casket quickly and realizes his sister had been stabbed. He begins to sob. What the hell was that noise? He begins to sob. I couldn't help you. That's my cross to bear. God, goodbye. Rest in peace. He finally says goodbye to his sister. He turns. It only goes deeper. And he goes deeper. And finds himself in an organ-like structure. He says, oh, finally, I can rest peacefully. He would go off to sleep and wake up. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful panel, by the way. He'd wake up, look at his hands. He's covered in bandages? He wakes up in the hospital. He turns to his side. It's a letter along with the teddy bear. Dear Thomas, I'm leaving you. I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do. I still love you, but I can't stay here. Losing our daughter was hard for me too, but you have to get over it. Your daughter, or your life, isn't over yet. I believe you can still get past this grief. It's over between us. Love, Gabby. They both cry. He delves deep into alcoholism. He tries to even kill himself. Almost manages to do so. And then he finally realizes, I remember everything. You led me out of the nightmare. I'll continue to live with your spirit. And as he walks, someone pinches his arm. He looks back in surprise. And it's his daughter. Hiding away, watching from afar as he ultimately moves forward. Yo, that was fire, dude. Straight flames. That actually just like cleared up so many misconceptions that I didn't understand. Dude, what an amazing story. It has grown on me exponentially. Now, this is the real end of the video, so thank you guys for showing up and showing out. And it has been Yuri Plays, Yuri Senpai, Yuri Clark, but whatever you know me by, that's who I am. And if you truly enjoyed what you saw here, do the Holy Trinity, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will be here next week. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, goodbye, and have a great day.